Hey guys, Dislife Marc here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip & Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. What are you waiting for? Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Greetings, program.
Amigos down there. It is me up here.
Howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times.
Nice work, pal.
Well, we have one of those new talking machines. Now that is something.
We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dislife Podcast. Thank you for being a part of our Disney lives here on the Chip & Company Podcast Network. My name is Marc Valentine, and I am the host of Dislife Podcast. Join us weekly as we discuss the very best of Disney parks, resorts, dining, and beyond. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to access more incredible audio content from the Chip & Company Podcast Network. Just a reminder to head over to chipandco.com for the latest and the most uplifting headlines from across the Disney parks around the world. Of course, as always, we would like to give a special shout out to the patrons of this podcast program, the members of our Patreon page who have special access to bonus content and much, much more. Support this radio program by visiting patreon.com/Dislife Podcast. Let's kick off the show the same way that we do every week by welcoming into the studio the co-host who has no troubles because life is the bubbles. The one, the only, Greg Gately. How are you doing, me hearty?
Hoy hoy, Marc Valentine. I just have a few questions for you, my friend.
Okay.
Do you have magic hair?
No.
Magic hands?
No.
Do animals talk to you?
No.
Have you been poisoned?
No.
Cursed?
No.
Kidnapped or enslaved?
No.
Then I'll have to assume that you made a deal with an underwater sea witch where she took your voice in exchange for a pair of human legs?
Almost.
Have you ever had love's true kiss?
Yes.
And for the $1 million question, Marc Valentine, do people assume all your problems got solved because of a big, strong man showed up?
Yes. What is up with that?
You are a princess, my friend.
Tell me that is
Welcome.
not the
Thank you
best.
so much for having me. What an amazing journey we had under the sea this past week. I am really excited to be here tonight, my friend.
Yes, and what Greg is talking about is don't forget to check out our incredible interview with Jodie Benson. Both Greg and I sat down with Jodie Benson this past Friday. The Little Mermaid herself in a Chip & Company podcast exclusive interview where we talked about her incredible book and her life. Definitely, Greg, one of the highlights of my podcasting career, dude.
I have to reaffirm exactly what you just said there. That was a highlight of my podcasting career. She was gracious. She was beautiful. She was wonderful. And I'm still in love with her.
It was amazing. So we've had quite the Princess Week, but to cap off Princess Week, which ended on Sunday, we are holding here today on this program, the Royal Princess Tournament, where we crown the best Disney princess according to Dislife Podcast. We have, of course, included the 12 canon Disney princesses and have added 4 honorary princesses to the lot. But you and I will make that decision. But here's the problem. If I vote one way and you vote another, we have a bit of an issue. And so to settle this tie, we have brought in a guest judge to the show today, former cast member, creative director at the Nerd Life Network on YouTube, host of Earth's Mightiest Weirdos and MCU podcast, and friend of the show, the one and only Bryan Lee. Bryan, welcome back to Dislife Podcast, my friend. How are you doing? What is good over at Nerd Life Network?
Hello there. It has been a while, Mark. I am happy to sit down with you. You didn't mention Babu's freaking podcast in there, where we need to get back to talking Star Wars, my friend.
Well, we have a little something that we will be talking about very soon, and that thing is Andor.
Yes, we do.
So, gentlemen, we have quite the tournament ahead of us today. So here are the rules. Again, we've included 13 official princesses according to the Disney Wiki, and that is Cinderella, Snow White, Belle, Pocahontas, Moana, Ariel, Merida, Jasmine, Mulan, Aurora, Tiana, and Raya, and Rapunzel. Those are the official. The honorary 3 that we have included, and this is crazy to believe they are not official, is Elsa, Anna, and of course, Vanellope von Schweetz.
Vanellope, how is she not a princess, by the way? I would like to speak to somebody at Disney. Please, why is Vanellope von Schweetz not a princess?
Honorary. So honorary.
And really, where are the 6 other sisters that are the daughters of Triton?
I don't know. Bowling? I have no clue where they are.
They have their own half-court game going on.
I guess.
3-on-3.
All right, so gentlemen, we are going to have a tournament. We have a Sweet 16 of these princesses, and then here are the rules. Here's what defines best. So we're going to go one round at a time, and then we are going to crown one princess here today. So here are the rules, and this is what we're basing our opinions on. It's not just who we like or the film that we like the most. We have 4 criteria that we're going to use to judge. And then, of course, round by round, we can delve into these or specifically talk to each one of these points. But the first criteria is going to be musical prowess. That's pretty basic. If you're a Disney princess, you have to be singing. Secondly, and probably the most important, is the inspiration factor and girl power. Which princess is the bigger inspiration and inspires girls and boys from around the world? Finally, last but not least, let's consider that it factor and breaking the mold. What princess has an intangible quality that if you look at them, they're doing something remarkable and something different, and they're breaking the mold when compared to their counterparts? Guys, any questions before we get started here?
Yes, my first question is, I actually have 2 questions, sir. Number 1, who made these brackets? Because I want to call rigged already. I feel like my princess is going up against another hard princess. So my number 1 is not your number 1. I already have problems here, Mark. What is going on? Did you do this?
So the only seeds that were set by me was number 1 and number 16. Some of the other stuff that was drawn in the middle, I just drew by random, and it was drawn by lot.
Okay, so it was done by, okay.
Yeah.
And so here's a question for both of you then.
Suspicious.
Any princess standing out for you? Like who may take this whole thing?
Oh, I like that.
Any pre-guesses?
Well, how about do you want to do a pre-guess, or do you want to say who would you pick just based on who you like the most?
So basically we're just admitting to what our favorite Disney princess
like a little
is.
bias. Let's just put our biases right there, right out on the table. Bri, who's your bias?
The OG bias is Belle, but man, I love me some Rapunzel. I'm not going to lie.
Greg, who's your bias? I need to know.
I am a Snow White man through and through. That is my childhood. But listen, I have my underdog though is definitely Elsa.
Like my heart, you know where my heart is, man. You know who I love more than anything in the world. My girl, the unofficial princess, Vanellope von Schweetz. She takes the cake or the cupcake, so to speak. But I mean, we sat down.
Clearly she would, Marc.
Yeah, so we sat down and we interviewed Ariel yesterday. And so I went on record and I told Jody, I think that was the first time that I really felt, a Disney movie kind of connected with me on a level that was beyond just me watching an animated film. So for me, it's got to be Ariel. So there it is.
Strong picks all around.
Bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. All right, gentlemen, here we go. We have first the 1 versus 16 matchup. I did put Cinderella as the number 1 seed. I think she shows the strongest in terms of just being an icon. Most people think of Cinderella, especially in Walt Disney World. After all, it is Cinderella's castle. So for us as Disney Worlders, it makes a lot of sense that Cinderella would be the number 1 seed. The number 16 seed is Vanellope von Schweetz. Bryan, let's go with you sort of 1 through 4. Let's debate and discuss.
When we talk musical prowess specifically, I mean, Cinderella has more musical numbers, but whose music do I enjoy more? I'm leaning toward Vanellope. I'm going to be honest. I love Slaughter Race.
Wow, we went with Slaughter Race as the better song when
but I just enjoy it more.
A dream is a wish your heart makes. Does anything grip you more? Listen, there is a reason it's Cinderella Castle in the middle of Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom. There's a reason why she is number 1. Not only that, but look at how amazing she does singing and dancing, and those scenes. There are timeless and classic. While those will live on, Vanellope will end up in the Disney Vault at some point.
I could make an argument.
I just want Diet Cola Mountain to be in the center of the Magic Kingdom now. I'm going to be honest.
Well, I was just going to say, I could make an argument that for the 25th, Vanellope von Schweetz kind of had her own castle, right?
Long live the pink cupcake castle.
Yeah, would the pink cupcake castle be Vanellope's? Very probable.
Right, but that was also an overlay on top of Cinderella Castle.
It was. Look, guys, musical prowess. I have to agree with Greg. A dream is a wish your heart makes. What is better and purer than that song? You know how much I love my girl Vanellope von Schweetz, and I do love me some Slaughter Race, but it's not going to be that. What about inspiration and girl power?
I have to say that Vanellope, she shows. It's a different day and age when her movie came out.
Yeah.
And she has that it thing, that power that I want to show my daughter and be like, look, you can be independent. You can go after what you want to go after. If you want to be in Slaughter Race, girl, go be in Slaughter Race. You don't have to sit there in some other person's video game and be told what to do.
Yeah,
so I do. Look, when you're talking about girl power, she's got it all.
I do think Cinderella is a little archaic. Of course, it's not fair because like you're using a film from a very different time period and just a very different tone. But I truly believe that Vanellope von Schweetz really does set the bar higher for that girl power factor or just being inspirational. While Cinderella really trudged through some pretty horrible circumstances, you know, I think Vanellope is going to connect with more kids nowadays than Cinderella would. Cinderella is going to connect with people of our generation or older. Vanellope is going to really affect the kids and the teens nowadays.
Yeah, that's what makes this this is such a difficult matchup to judge because they're just such completely different films. But I am the father of 3 daughters. And to Greg's point, if you want to go out in public with candy in your hair, by all means, go for it.
And sometimes when you have little kids, let's face it, they do.
Let's put it this way too, Mark. I do believe there was a picture of someone's daughter with 2 different Christmas socks that made the ways around Facebook this week. And my daughter does the same thing. And I agree with Bryan. You want to go out with 2 different socks and for Christmas time and it's a Halloween, go for it.
Just
Have fun.
Let it go. Oh, wait, that's a different princess.
Wow.
Whoops. All right. Anything that we want to mention for the it factor or breaking the mold here before we vote?
The it factor is the castle and everything else that comes along with running your own kingdom. Again, different time periods in which the films were released and expectations makes it really hard to compare. But the staying power of Cinderella, I don't think Vanellope is going to have that same staying power 60 years from now.
All right.
I'm going to call it factor of... you know what? I'm going to save the it factor of this one for the next round because I know my girl's going to be moving on.
Okay. Greg, so then go ahead. Your girl, cast the vote. Who is, quote unquote, your girl in this round?
That would be the ultimate Disney princess, Cinderella.
Bryan, you're up next.
Cinderella.
And it's going to be a clean sweep. Vanellope, I love you with all of my heart. I love you with all of my heart and soul. But Cinderella has to advance as the number 1 seed overall. She's going to take this first round. The number 2 seed in this tournament is Snow White, and she will be going up against the 15 seed Raya and the Last Dragon. No dragons. Aizu does not get a chance to come in this argument. She's standing on her own merit. But guys, let's talk about musical prowess first. There really is no musical prowess. This is kind of a wash because Raya not singing.
Yeah, and Snow White really just kind of whistles and sings. She has that one brief song. She doesn't do too much more than that.
Yeah.
But when she does sing, such a sweet, soft, beautiful voice. It's what you wanted your Disney princesses to sound like back in the day.
Yeah. All right, inspiration and girl power, guys. Who takes this one home?
Adriana Casaletti. Greg.
Thank you so much, Adriana Casaletti. So sorry, Mark. We just moved on. Inspiration and girl power.
Why did you say that? Like, what's his name from Big Daddy? You said it like when he got the sausage McMuffin and he writes it down on the notepad. You were like, sausage McMuffin.
Because that's exactly what I just did. I wrote it down. So
that is
I would
such a great shout out to Big Daddy, man. That is awesome.
He literally just did. He was just Steve Buscemi. Like all of a sudden, he turned into Steve Buscemi from Big Daddy.
Be nice to the delivery guy, would you? It's not his fault he can't read.
All right, girl power.
Girl
I
power.
have to go. It's got to go to Raya on this one. She is loyal. She is fierce. She is.
Is she loyal, brave, and true?
She truly is. Snow White, look, she's just taking care of 7 grumpy dwarves there. Well, I mean, 1 grumpy dwarf, but 6 other dwarves. And they kind of put her in the back burner when it comes to that. And I think that's a little too old school for this day and age.
You know, we just kind of saw this a minute ago. Same thing with our first matchup. You talk about the era that the films are made in, and you just look at Snow White and the paradigm that she kind of exists in Snow White and the 7 Dwarves. And then you look at Raya, which was made in, when did that drop? 2020? Yeah. You just see how different.
March of 2021, actually.
Yeah. You just see how different of a tone these 2 films are. And they really are. They're just representative of the era that they were made in. But it's, Raya has to win this by virtue and again, it doesn't mean that Snow White, isn't an inspiration in that time period or that.
No, you're absolutely, and I think you just put it perfectly. She, in that time period, how many girls looked up to Snow White and did for many centuries looked up to Snow White, like especially by the end, like there was Prince Charming, Prince's first kiss. Like how many girls wanted that growing up? Even my own wife was like, "Yeah, that's what I wanted growing up. I wanted my prince to come and marry me." So yeah, look, we're just judging it by girl power. There was no real girl power in that time frame, unfortunately. So thank God we live in a time like we do.
As a massive lover of Rey, with so much that I have a daughter named after Rey, I feel like I need to cast a vote for Raya now. So that's what I'm going to do.
He's just going right for it. Greg, who's got your vote, man?
Look, you know what? This is going to shock you, Mark, but I'm going Raya on this one.
Holy cow. I'm not even.
Yes.
My vote means nothing. I'm going to vote for Snow White, and my vote means nothing.
I was at Snow White until Bryan went Raya, and I went, you know what? That's just a better choice now.
Wow. Wow.
And it hurts myself. I have hurt myself on this one because Snow White is my favorite princess.
That is a gigantic upset. If people put that's a 215. That's bracket busted. Raya is moving on. I officially am going to cast my vote for Snow White so that people don't think that I've lost my mind.
I do want to shout out. These films were released 85 years apart. Very, very difficult just from a generational standpoint. The staying power of Snow White, Kelly Marie Tran, and everything she went through as being part of the Star Wars universe to then being cast as the voice of Raya. What she means, everything. I am going to actually cast my vote for Raya anyway, now that I've talked myself into it. So I apologize for putting the show on hold. We can move on. Raya has advanced.
You don't have to apologize, my friend, because I like the fact that you created sense out of something that I didn't see much sense in. And you know what? Like, listen, I would still vote the other way just because of the staying power of Snow White. But as I say, from time to time, gentlemen, I don't hate it. The number 3 seed against the number 14 seed. Number 3 is Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and our 14 seed is Pocahontas. Greg, you have the first word here on the number 3 and 14 matchup. Again, bearing in mind, Brian's got a little stake in the game here. Just like Snow White was your girl, and you voted against her.
I voted against her because it's a different type of princess that I'm enjoying now. Belle versus Pocahontas.
Can we talk about for a minute how Belle is like basically just bashing the entire town? Like she's walking through the town.
Provincial town.
Yeah. It's no wonder they don't like her. She's walking through the town throwing shade on everybody.
She really is not the nicest person walking through that town. But hey, she has her nose stuck in a book, which means she's probably a little bit more educated than most of those townsfolk. Let's give her that.
Chicken or the egg situation where like did the town bash her first, so therefore she became bitter, or the other way around?
I feel that she was the odd girl out, so they bashed her first. They isolated her.
That's where I'm at too.
Well, she's polite about it. She calls them provincial. I mean, there could be a lot of worse stuff that she could throw their way. So
they do the same as always. I have to go with Belle on this.
Okay.
Her songs, her voice, Paige O'Hare singing is just phenomenal. I mean, it sets a standard for the next 20 years of Disney movies. So I have to go with Belle.
Historical inaccuracies with Pocahontas also play a role in this, but Belle wins every single category for me.
Well, I mean, musically, this is a throwdown right here between the two of them. Colors of the Wind was Vanessa Williams, gentlemen. Am I? Mm-hmm. I'm not mistaken in that. Okay, but I mean, like you have two iconic soundtracks here. So, as a former history teacher, and so the anachronisms and the historical inaccuracies of that film drive me crazy. I'm not going to lie, for that reason and that reason alone. I will listen to the music of Pocahontas. I do not watch Pocahontas.
Yes, but we were going off of musical prowess here. We weren't going off of historical inaccuracies. We were going off of how good is the soundtrack? How well does that princess sing?
So my top 2 Disney soundtracks are Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid. Nothing tops those two in terms of...
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Quality
I just
of music,
said we were bringing in historical inaccuracies in the musical prowess section.
They go deep. And the only soundtrack that goes deep or as deep for me is Tarzan. And we can't shoehorn Jane in as a Disney princess. Trust me, I thought about it and I tried to get some kind of representation from my boy Phil Collins in this, but it wasn't happening, Mark. But Belle is the stuff that Belle sings again. It gives me the feels. It gives me all the butterflies when she sings. Belle has musical prowess. Inspiration and girl power, guys.
It has to go to Belle also. Now we can bring up the historical inaccuracies because, look, Pocahontas is such a Disney washed. And again, they do a good job of trying to bring that story to a day and age which we lived in. But Belle, being an educated girl, being how she's strong-willed, and she goes off and trains this beast. Or not trains the beast, but learns to live with this beast. She is in an inspiration out there for girls of all ages.
Bri?
Belle.
Yeah, Belle for me too. I just love the way that she finds love in this too. That the way that she comes to love him, it's not based on anything superficial and it's not based on looks. I love the message of that film. And I do. I think it's really inspirational for girls to find what they're looking for out there in the world, but to look deeper at something and to challenge everything. When everyone tells you, X, you can challenge that assertion and go your own way and still find your happy ending at the end of it.
Even if your dad's a little weird.
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I might surprise you guys with that it factor and the breaking the mold. I do like the way that they did break the mold with Pocahontas. I think that they really took a risk with that animated film. And I do think that it paid off for Disney by and large. A film like Pocahontas, I think they took some risks with that film. Let's be honest, as a studio. And I like that they did that. I feel like they were swinging for the fences. I would have to say, in terms of breaking the mold and that it factor, I would have to say Pocahontas is very different as a princess. There is really no other princess like her. And because she is so unique, and she's based on a historical figure and a historical character. I do think that she has something that Belle maybe doesn't, where Belle is going to fold in with a lot of the other princesses and doesn't stand out like Pocahontas. I do think Pocahontas takes this category for me.
For me, Pocahontas is the only way it breaks the mold for me is it's the most forgettable of all the animated films within its era.
Fair.
There's nothing about that film that I enjoy. It was my least favorite part of Fantasmic, and I expect it to have been replaced when Fantasmic reopens, whenever that is the case. Fantasmic at Disneyland's better because that scene didn't exist. The canon always also scared the crap out of me.
Hey, Brian, could you just repeat that phrase one more time? What did you just say?
Let it go. Let it go.
I just need to hear it one more time.
What did I say?
Fantasmic is better where?
Oh, yeah.
Greg.
Everything's better in Disneyland. I'm not going to help Greg's psyche there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Greg.
It's okay, Greg. You're going soon, and then you'll know what we're talking about.
All right, Greg, let's vote. Belle and Pocahontas, number 3 versus 14. You're casting your vote overall.
I'm going with Belle.
Brian?
Belle.
And it's a clean sweep for me. Belle is going to advance.
I hate this next matchup. I hate it so much.
This next matchup is going to be really hard. Our 4 seed is Moana, and our 13 seed is Anna from Frozen and Frozen 2. I know that Greg has a lot of love for Miss Anna. So, Greg, I will let you start this off. Musical prowess. This is not an easy category for you to judge either one of them.
Man, this one is rough, but I have to give it to my girl, Anna. She sings what I think is one of the most inspirational, wonderful Disney songs that has ever been sung. And I wish people would hear The Next Right Thing more and understand the lyrics and how deep that song really is and how just everything about that song speaks to me on so many levels. Now, that's not to take away anything from Moana because the song is so good, but the song, The Next Right Thing, it just sets that just Anna way out in front for me.
I was just going to say, now that you say that, I do remember that you had spoken of that song and said it probably is your favorite song of all time. So that makes a lot of sense. Now it's not as shocking that you vote against Aulu.
Not as shocking, yeah.
Brian, who do you have in this one?
Greg actually took every single planned word I had out of my mouth. The Next Right Thing, when Anna sings that and what those words mean. And even if you listen to that song out of context, if you're just going through something really tough in life, it hits very, very hard, unlike any other song from either of these two films. I love Moana, but musical prowess, I'm going Anna.
Okay. I'm going to vote against you guys. There are not a lot of songs that make me tear up and well up and cry. The reprise of
specifically the reprise, that's the good call.
Reprise of How Far I'll Go just gets me. There's something about that moment, but even in Enchantment, and I'm not saying that Enchantment makes me cry. The placement of that song in Enchantment makes me cry during Enchantment, and I'm mad about it because I don't want to feel that way during Enchantment. I want to
Did you know Enchantment makes me cry?
I want to be a happily ever after
because it's so bad
for forever.
I did see the new intro to Enchantment with Walt Disney on, when was I there? Wednesday?
And
yes, it was good.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Deserving, I heard.
It was good.
I haven't seen it yet, and I will.
I literally left right after that. I saw that and then left.
Yeah. Moana, guys, for me is musical prowess. Oh, okay. Girl power and inspiration. Again, this is a really tough matchup. To me, I think both of these princesses are really great in this category. Brian.
I'm going to go with, on this one, Moana. I think her headstrong, she is wonderful with inspiration and girl power. Look, it's not to take anything away from Anna, but you see Anna in the whole first beginning of Frozen. She is not that. She's looking for a man to come into her life, and she's happy that the gates are open. And it just kind of seems very passé to me. But I think Disney was playing with us at that point with her character. Yeah. Now her character does grow and develop, but not in the way that Moana does right off the get-go.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Anna. Anna reminds me a lot of, I mean, this sappy or whatever. It reminds me a lot of my wife. Like, there's a lot of independent things about Anna that she will do things on her own. She will do the next right thing. And she still wants a man there to help her. It's not that she doesn't need a man for anything. I think she really has a good relationship with Kristoff. But when it comes to girl power, Moana takes this one.
I think Moana sends a really great message. I think Moana is a great inspiration to a lot of kids, not just to females, but to males as well. There's a lot of young boys and young girls who look at Moana, and she is like, it's just, she's empowering. And I love that character. Definitely. Who's got the it factor, guys, in terms of breaking the mold?
Breaking the mold, to me, I think that goes to Anna, honestly. I think she shows growth. I think she shows, again, just how I explained on the inspiration and girl power, she shows this growth to become this independent woman where she is strong enough to take over being queen of the kingdom. So, I mean, it kind of throws her off of being a princess, but she was a princess for many years during these movies. Moana, look, again, she's got this cool it factor where she can fight. She's strong-willed. Again, I'm not trying to take anything from her, but to me on this one, it's Anna.
How much power does it take to wrangle a demigod? Grabs him by the ear and just wills him to get to Te Fiti, man. That's pretty remarkable. Bryan, anything else that you want to throw in before we vote?
I feel like I'd be better friends with Anna in the real world, which gives the edge to my it factor. She seems quirky enough. She seems fun.
I would split a sandwich with her.
All right, gentlemen, it is time to vote. Let me vote first this time. I am going to vote with Moana. I really love that character. I don't know what it is about that film. I will say it. I could probably vote the other way tomorrow. But I feel very inspired right now by Moana and Auli Cravalho. So I'm
thank you for saying that because I keep hacking that name.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moana on this one. Bryan,
I'd like to hear Greg's vote first.
He wants the tiebreak. All right, Greg, go ahead.
I know which way I'm going, but I want to.
Well, listen, as Olaf once duetted with Anna, some things never change, and I'm going with Anna.
I feel like we have another upset in the works, Bryan.
Against most princesses, Anna would have gotten my vote, but not Moana. I vote Moana.
Wow.
That hurt. Oh, right there.
Well
that
played.
One hurts right there.
Well played.
Anna would have won most first rounds, but no, I can't do it.
You know what I have to say about you on that round, Bryan? I feel like we finished each other's
sandwiches.
That's what I was going to say.
Oxtail. See, that's why I'm off. I went oxtail.
Samsonite.
All right, gentlemen, here we go. Moving on. Number 5 in our Royal Tournament, Princess Tournament, we have Ariel. And then the 12 seed is Merida. I know it's from Pixar Studios, but she's an official Disney princess. There is no debating that. Number 5, Ariel versus Merida. Musical prowess, gentlemen. This is like kind of a no contest because Merida does not sing.
Next.
Move along.
Moving on. Inspiration and girl power. I feel like this is a no contest.
Again, this is absolutely a no contest. Next.
Merida is...
If you don't know.
Yeah, if you don't know. I mean, listen, Merida is an inspiration. I love the way that she breaks the mold. And it's just, you have a very traditional Disney princess versus someone that's thinking outside the box.
The animation of Merida and all her individual strands of hair and everything, like, it's an iconic look. I can't understand half the stuff she says, but it's an iconic look.
So what are you telling us? You watch Brave with the subtitles?
I'm going to be honest. I don't really watch Brave at all.
What? We just watched it last week.
I just think it commits the sin of being boring. I just don't enjoy it.
How dare you, Bryan?
I think it's like 19th on my Pixar list.
I remember you had it really low when you guys ranked that on United We Fan. The animation styles
Did you put the redheads up against each other on purpose?
What's that?
The redheads.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. This is amazing. Only one redhead will stand supreme after this round. All right. What about the if factor, gentlemen, before we cast our votes on the number 5 versus number 12 seed?
I'm going to I'm going to throw it in for Merida on this one. She does have that it factor. Like, she can take care of herself. She doesn't even fall into wish or whatever those with the words she uses. Like, I'm with Bryan. You can't really understand her very well, but setting off on the adventure, and then she can still take care of her mom, who turns into a bear. Like, she can just take care of herself.
She should have just gave Mama Snickers.
Fine.
It would have been over.
if to be quite honest, she's one of those princesses where you're like, if she turned into the queen because the king died, I'd be fine with it. She knows how to do it.
She should have just given Mama Snickers and everything would have been okay. The movie would have been over in 15 minutes.
It has a real House of the Dragon feel to it. Merida does.
Ooh, I didn't even think about. You're right. You're 1,000% right. It really does. Greg,
can I say I don't understand that comment?
I'm going to quote the great Greg Gately, the Disney fanatic, when he said in our interview with Jodie Benson that Ariel was the voice for an entire generation of young men and women who grew up with Ariel, and it was the beginning of an animation renaissance. The Little Mermaid was so profound in the history of Walt Disney Animation in bringing back animation and making it cool. And lest we forget, The Little Mermaid, then, you have Howard Ashman and Alan Menken. Then you get Beauty and the Beast off of the commercial and critical success of The Little Mermaid. Then you're going to get like films like The Lion King. Animated films in this time period became an event because of The Little Mermaid. So Little Mermaid's daring to dream and singing inside of her grotto about ordinary things being extraordinary allowed us to re-examine our own lives through that lens. To me, that is such a special thing about that movie. And it's why I'm just going to go right to vote, guys. The Little Mermaid is one of my favorite movies, and I will die on that hill. Is Ariel perfect? No. Like, it's kind of weird the way that she chases Eric right away. But the story of that film, I think, inspired all of us to think bigger, to dream bigger, and to dare to be different. And it made us all re-examine where we were in life and think to ourselves, I know that I'm so happy, but I just want more with my life. And Ariel for me, guys.
I feel like there should have been like a presidential soundtrack behind that speech. I feel like there should be. You just pulled an Independence Day speech on us, Mark.
Did I editorialize for a minute?
I am inspired by you.
In the words of my generation.
Look, I will never go against the beautiful, the gracious, the wonderful, the amazing Jodie Benson.
Just remember Ariel. That in subsequent rounds, Craig.
I have many things to add to that conversation that I'm not right now. I'm holding off on some of these talking points for later rounds. So I'm going to go with Ariel.
Bryan, just for argument's sake, how would you have gone?
I mean, this is where the age difference, though not that different between you and I, is different enough that I just watched The Little Mermaid because I thought Sebastian and Flounder were awesome.
And they are.
I didn't connect with it on quite that same level, but yes, Little Mermaid, I literally grew up on it, and Ariel wins.
All right, she's a clean sweep. Just for some housekeeping and moving on to the next round, we have the number 6 seed, Jasmine, against Mulan. Greg, I will have you open it again this round. Musical prowess. Not easy. Aladdin may have better music, but...
Aladdin may have better music. I think Mulan has the better song.
Reflection versus A Whole New World is really what this comes down to.
That's what this comes down to.
Exactly. And I think Reflections is a better song overall, even though A Whole New World is spectacular. Like you're going two of the greatest Disney songs of all time. On this one, I have to go Mulan.
Can I say that even though this is not part of this bracket, I actually like Speechless in the live action Aladdin. I think that song is really good.
Hey, I like it. It can come in. I like it. Yep, that works.
I do not like the reprise of it later in the film. It really doesn't fit, but I like that song. But A Whole New World versus Reflection, I'm going musical prowess. I'm going with Mulan as well.
All right, so I would say that Mulan is she probably has the better of the two songs in terms of for that character. I do like A Whole New World better, It's not fair. It's not fair to count that because it's a duet. It's a totally different type of song. If we're just counting the female part in it, then I have to say Reflection is a way better song. So, Inspiration.
Was that Peebo Bryson and Vanessa Williams? Or am I thinking Peebo Bryson and somebody else was that Whole New World?
No, I know who it is. And I don't know why I'm having a brain fart right now. And I'm going to get really mad at myself. Leah Salonga. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was in my computer. I didn't Google that, ladies and gentlemen. I pulled that out. I've seen her live on Broadway in numerous shows, and I don't know why I didn't have Leah Salonga like boom right there in my database.
I have not.
All right, inspiration and girl power, guys. And I'm going to surprise you on this one. I'm going to go with Jasmine on this one because I feel like the system both, and it's interesting that like this wasn't intentionally done, but both of these characters are in patriarchal systems and they're kind of having their fates determined to them by the men in their lives, and they're like completely surrounded by people who mansplain to them on a daily basis. But the thing about Jasmine that I like is she's a little bit more open and forceful about the way that she goes about circumventing all of those systems and that processes. Like she's pretty upfront and honest. Like, I am not on board with this. She puts her foot down. She basically like holds up the whole kingdom to say, like, I don't care that this is creating an issue for the kingdom. This is not what I want. Like, again, it's cool. Like, I think Mulan's got a great message and it's great. Like, but she does have to sort of play ball a little bit. So to me, I'm going to vote for Jasmine in that regard. I know it's a surprise, but that would be my case for why Jasmine stands out a little bit.
I can't argue that point. I think that's a very well-spoken point on that. Look, I don't want to go too deep into the woods on this one, but I feel like I may have to a little bit. And so indulge me for a second. If Mulan came out today, she would be almost the first real transgender character in a Disney film by going from female to male to try and justify being in that patriarchal society that she goes into. And I think on that note, if that movie came out today, it'd be a different film. I think I would think differently about that film on those terms. But if you're going by inspiration and girl power on this, I think she tries to hide that she's a girl to fit in with the boys for the honor of her family. And yes, she can fight. Yes, she does fit in with the boys. Yes, she can hold her own against them. Jasmine goes out there and she's running away to see what the real world's like out there.
Yeah.
Man, this one's interesting. I think I just talked myself out of saying Jasmine. I'm going with Mulan.
Okay.
Greg, I think I'd push back on that a little bit because the movie kind of did come out today. Like it came out pretty recently in a live action format and it didn't quite go to that extent. I think it was.
Yeah,
so,
you couldn't put that out today. That Disney has to stay away from something like that.
Right. So I think when it comes to girl power, saving an entire nation and killing an entire group of people in battle.
Well, she does really kill them, doesn't she?
It's pretty girl power.
Does.
I'm going Mulan just for that reason, but both of them kind of infiltrate the system and kind of rise up from inside of that. Jasmine sneaks into the streets and is able to do it her way, and Mulan does it her way. I'm going Mulan on this one.
That's where I would say that's the it factor for Mulan. While like the inspiration and the girl power, I think Jasmine really like to me wins that category. But the it factor to me goes to Mulan because Mulan is putting her life on the line and standing in as a proxy for her father, who would have surely died in battle. So there's something about Mulan with that it factor. And we just said a few minutes ago that, you know, and I said of Pocahontas, she's not like anything else. Same thing. Mulan is based upon this myth, and there's a mythos around this story. Disney took a huge risk with this character, and I think it paid off. She has an it factor to me that I think where Jasmine falls a little short.
I went with she had a dragon.
All right, guys, let's get down to business to vote this round.
One more it factor for Mulan. She actually had an out. She was sent out of the army. They were sending her home. She could have A, saved her father's life, and B, returned home without being harmed. She had an out. Instead, she continued to work and get better and get stronger and did everything else. My vote this round goes to Mulan.
Mulan. You just got me. I'm on board. Let's go. Let's run it.
Let's make it a 3P. All of us. I'm going with Mulan.
Wow, sweep. Jasmine, I'm sorry. I love you, but Mulan is taking the round. All right, number 7. Her sister might have been knocked out earlier in the tournament, but Elsa is here as the 7 seed going up against Aurora. I know her. I danced with her once upon a dream. Gentlemen, musical prowess. Is this even a contest? To me, I would say no. Idina Menzel. I mean, Once Upon a Dream's a great song, but there is nothing like the music of Frozen, man.
Once Upon a Dream is a great song until the prince comes in.
Oh, I like his vocals.
Oh, I see. That's where the song goes way downhill. I'm like, man, her vocals are amazing. Oh, he's talking. Yeah.
No, I like that. That's very old timey to me. I really like that vocal style.
Elsa, though,
there's nothing like Elsa.
And it's powerful songs.
So before, I'm asking this in earnest. Before you heard the song 9 million times, like, be honest, Let It Go. The first time you heard that, what was your reaction?
I love it. I still love it. It never got outplayed for me. I'm going to be honest. I'm
the same way. It has not gotten old for me. I know a lot of dads were like, man, I mean, like this was torture. I still like that song. Like I would be the one to hit play on it.
Speaking of songs like that, obviously Into the Unknown, I still can just do that one little part at the bottom of my stairs. My daughter will do the return call of down the street. I will hear her do that. So I will not do it now, or you will hear her vocals coming from the other room. That's how much
you need
we
to
do that.
It. Oh, now we need to do it. Ready? 3, 2. Disappointed.
My 21-month-old has taken to that particular call as well. Mark, I am not going to waste your time. There is nothing Aurora beats Elsa in, and I'm casting my vote for Elsa.
You know what? I'm with Bryan on this. I think he speaks the truth.
Listen,
and I love Aurora.
I love me some Elsa. Sorry, Aurora.
I like that pink dress, but
make it blue.
Make it blue.
Make it blue. And that blue would be Elsa's dress, which is phenomenal, by the way. The 8 seed, Tiana, against the 9 seed. You want to talk about a tough matchup, Rapunzel. This, gentleman, is in my opinion, the hardest matchup that we have had in front of us today. Musical prowess. Right?
I don't love Princess and the Frog. I don't. You've heard this before.
I know. I'm acting shocked.
I don't love that movie. I don't love that Tiana spends half of the film as a frog, which is going to make this a little bit more difficult at times. I do think overall, At Last I See the Light is really good. Musical prowess for me does go Rapunzel, even though I think Tiana has the best song from either film, and that is what's the main song from
Almost There?
Almost There.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Well, Mama Odie,
that's the best song of all of them.
Mama Odie's got the best song in the entire movie with Dig a Little Deeper, though.
That's fair. But if it's number 1, Almost There, and then all the other Rapunzel songs, and then the rest of the Tiana songs for me, I think I'm going to lean Rapunzel on musical prowess.
I respect that, Bryan. Dig a Little Deeper, just get you moving and hopping,
But does that?
But that's
count?
Mama Odie,
Tiana, though, because
see, there just went. She opened her door and went ah. And then she walked away. Teenagers, they're 15 and just want to do their own thing. Aurora, when See the Light, and then even when she's singing with the gentleman,
Eugene.
Rapunzel.
Yeah, wait.
You said Aurora. It's okay. It's all good. I
know what I'm trying to do. My daughter walked in and did
make it Rapunzel.
Thing, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Make it pink. Bring. Make it Rapunzel. Bring.
Bring. Go with whatever princess I want to talk about. Rapunzel. Yeah, I mean, When At Last I See the Light, beautiful song.
Yeah, Mandy Moore got way more to work with.
But Bang for My Buck and Nini Noni. Oh my gosh.
Anika Nani Rose.
Thank you.
I'm
horrible with names. I don't understand it. I think I'm stroking out, guys. She Dig a Little Deeper is such a fun song to just move. I will put that soundtrack on and just dance around my house while we're all in the kitchen together. I can listen to that anytime. Musical prowess for my vote is definitely Tiana.
Okay. Inspiration and girl power, again, really tough.
It's not tough for me. Tiana wins this one.
Okay.
Her drive to open a restaurant, everything else, she's more independent. I think that's an easy call for Tiana.
I agree with Bryan, by the way, for the record. To me, there's no greater narrative. There's no greater story than that of Tiana. Like, her happily ever after is because of her hard work and her stick-to-itness.
I can't fight against that in any way, shape, or form. I'm not even going to try.
All right. Any factors that we talk about before we vote?
Artistry. She can paint. Rapunzel's awesome. Rapunzel's super talented. She's quirky. I love her.
It factor has to be something that bit off the wall a bit weird. I'm just going to say Tiana gets that for having the last name of Rogers.
What about frying pans, guys? Like, we're missing a huge...
You beat me to it, but my world shattered. Tiana's last name is Rogers. I don't think I knew that.
It is Rogers.
I don't watch that film often, as I already stated. So,
all right, guys, let's vote. Bryan, you get to go first this time around, man. Give you the honor. Rapunzel. Greg.
Tiana.
Oh, why do I have to be the tiebreaker? I don't want to be the tiebreaker. I love them both. I love Mandy Moore as Rapunzel. I really love Rapunzel.
The way these matchups came together, they're usually together in Princess Fairy Tale Hall, too.
They are. Well, they had to settle it once and for all. Tiana gets the room, gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
Tiana's going to Tiana's going to get the win. I love me some Mandy Moore and Rapunzel, but Tiana is going to get the win. And I totally jumbled this entire bracket up when I wrote it again. So the one should technically then go against the 8, right?
Yes.
All right. So we have Cinderella against Tiana. Let's just go to a quick what hasn't been said already. Anything that we held back in open rounds. Let's go really quicker through these subsequent rounds. The opening round was going to take most of our time.
She took out my girl, but I'm going Tiana. I think Tiana's a better princess than Cinderella at this point.
Greg, you said you had an intangible that you held in reserve.
Yeah, it doesn't hold up now. It doesn't hold up.
I still want to hear it. I was on the edge of my seat.
She had Gus, and Jacques.
Wait a minute.
She had animals.
Whoa.
She had animals.
Tiana has the whole bayou, dude.
I know. It doesn't hold up, I said.
She has a jazz
you
playing.
You could have just let me go. I could have just been like, oh, okay, Greg, no problem. We'll just let you go. Now I sound like a dweeb.
She has a firefly that's now immortal as a star.
Look,
she has a jazz playing alligator.
No intangible. Look, I would love to...
Lewis ate Gus for breakfast.
He did, and he plays trumpet, and I'm jealous of that, and many other reasons that I want to pick Tiana. But when you're talking Disney princess, okay, there is nothing in this world more iconic than Cinderella. Just nothing. Like, my daughters, at little kids, they hated princesses, but they knew who Cinderella was. They wanted to dress in that blue ball gown. They wanted to get dressed up no matter what happened. I don't know how I want to go on this. It hurts me to even think about this. I'm hurting my own brain. I'm going to go Cinderella.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that. No pressure. I hate having to break. Yeah, I hate having to break the tie again here on this. I do understand all of that, man. I understand Cinderella really is an icon.
No, this is starting off wrong already. I don't feel good, Mark.
No, she's a number.
Saying good things about Cinderella. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she's a number one seed. On the other hand, there's no princess that I love the message of the movie more than Tiana. Like, it hands down to me. I love how she builds her own happily ever after. I love both of these princesses. I have to vote with Cinderella, and I'm going to vote for Cinderella because here's the emotional part of this. It was my daughter's first princess. She was 2, and it was the movie she watched on repeat. Like, this is pre-Frozen. The movie that my daughter fell in love with, and like she fell in love with Disney, was Cinderella. Me watching her I mean, she could barely stand, and she would have a bottle in her hand, just watching Cinderella on repeat. It was that one movie that I think she probably watched from when she was 2 till 4 until we took her to Disney for the first time. So Cinderella, Jack and Gus Gus were her it. That was her in. So it's a personal thing. I do love Tiana. I could probably be swayed on this, but Cinderella is going to move forward for me.
I really thought it would have been Sophia the first.
It was. That was the television show. It was Sophia.
I think the reason Princess and the Frog I don't like, I think the voodoo stuff is just too real. It freaks me out.
It is. The Shadow Man be scary. Well, that's another reason why we couldn't watch that in our household, was it would freak my daughter out. She watches it now, but it would freak her out. Cinderella is going to advance for me, guys. So we had a huge upset in the first round. You have Raya going against Elsa. Has Raya gone far enough in this tournament, or does she still have some gas in the tank? Greg, anything that you want to say? And then if you want to vote, you're up, my friend.
I mean, listen, if you're going by music, if you're going by princess, if you're going by the standards of Disney, is there anyone more iconic than Idina Menzel and Elsa? Look, Raya is a fabulous movie, and she's a fabulous princess, and she will stand the test of time. But it's my girl Elsa. Like, I just have to say, at the end of the day, if you say Disney princess, you're going to hear probably Elsa before anybody else right now.
To me, this is no. If I'm being honest, there's no contest here. I voted for Snow White. I appreciate, it was a good vote. I'm claps to you guys for having the gumption to do it. I don't think she gets out of the first round for me. Elsa is an icon. Bryan, I know that it's a moot point at this point, but do you want to add anything to maybe propel Elsa, or is she going to have a split vote moving forward to the next round?
Adele Dazeem gets the move on. But Mark, Elsa or Snow White? I'm curious what your answer is. I still think it's Elsa.
Yeah. It would have been Elsa for me. I think with those movies, they caught lightning in a bottle. Frozen 2. Greg and I have money that Frozen 3 is going to get announced at D23. There's something special about those movies that even dads love it. And
look, they're being inducted as Disney legends at D23. There's something about those movies.
There really is.
Who's being inducted?
The whole cast of Frozen.
Oh, are they? The cast and Jennifer Lee and all?
No, it's Idina Menzel,
Kristen Bell,
Josh Gad, Kristen Bell, and Groff.
Jonathan Groff.
King George.
He'll be back. All right, gentlemen, Belle against Mulan. Anything? Bryan, go ahead. I'm going to let you go first this time around. I'm going to make Greg break the tie, if there is one.
Belle versus Mulan. This one's hard.
Harder than you would think, right?
It is much. We haven't said the term Stockholm syndrome.
All right. So while you're pondering,
no, I have it. Mulan is my vote.
Okay. I was just going to say, on the other side, this is easy for me. Next to The Little Mermaid, I just said this a few minutes earlier. The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast were like my number 1 and my number 2. I love Belle. I love the music of that movie. I really like the way that she finds love in the most strangest of circumstance, and the fact that she looks beyond beauty and she looks beyond skin deep, and she connects with him. I just love that tale as old as time. There's something just beautiful about the music of that. To me, it's really easy. It's Belle, hands down.
Breaking it down to just the character instead of the film in general is really difficult.
Yeah.
And that's why I went against my girl Belle. I'm sticking with Mulan.
Greg, you have a tie break. Finally, I'm putting you in.
I don't want to be in this position right now. Can I just say nice things about everybody? And
it's not.
Can we all get participation trophies?
It's not fun.
No. Justification. I have no justification. They are both amazing in what they do. I could sell every point for both princesses. But look, the way we just sold Mulan, I have to agree with Bryan Lee on this one. I have to go with Mulan.
Holy cow. I can't
And that's
believe you guys right
nothing.
now.
I
I'm
love
leaving.
Bell.
You know what? Have the rest of the tournament. I'm leaving. I'm out of here.
Why? King Candy. Why did you leave?
When I get angry, I turn into King Candy. It's over. No, hey, cool, whatever. Cool.
Wow, did you just hey, cool, whatever us?
Cool.
Exactly what he did.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Marc
He's gonna be
Valentine
more
having a
mad
meltdown.
After this next round, I feel like he's going to be more
Oh
mad.
my goodness. All right. So Moana against Ariel, gentlemen. You know how I'm voting. For the record, I love Moana. I think Moana is amazing. But part of your world, that song, it started so much. I don't know what it is. It connects with me on an existential level. I've always wanted to look for more in life, and I've always wanted to push for more because of part of your world. I love that story. I think the animation is beautiful. And I think so many kids love Ariel for that reason. And I am voting for Ariel straight away. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Ariel is getting my vote. Break my heart, guys, because I feel it's coming. Greg, go ahead.
I just want to do this one more time, but I'm going to back up from the mic. Excuse me for 1 second.
Where's he going? This is crazy right now.
Thank you.
If you didn't hear, because he was away from the mic, he did scream, I am Moana.
I didn't want to hurt anybody's ears. I just wanted to let the world know that I am Moana.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
And because that's the last time I'm going to be able to get to sing that because she's out of this round. I am going with Ariel.
Yes. Brian, for the record, how would you vote?
Mark, I'm letting you take all the Ariel stuff until later when I will expound on my love of Ariel.
I wasn't going to be able to vote out Ariel and Belle back to back. I was going Ariel.
Yes.
As well.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm placated. I feel better. I've had a Snickers. The King Candy is cool. I'm not going to go turbo. I'm fine.
Mark turns into King Candy when he's angry.
Release the devil dogs.
All right. So we have Cinderella against Elsa, gentlemen.
Elsa.
Greg.
Ooh.
In case you can't tell, I'm not exactly a man for the classics.
For all the positives I've said about Cinderella and for how iconic she is, I think we live in a day and age where she has been overtaken by another princess, and that name is Elsa. And I don't think there's ever coming back. So for that one simple thing that she is just become so massive and well-deserved massive, I have to go Elsa.
Wow. They're taking the vote out of my hands, but I'm going to let you know something. It's a clean sweep, guys. I'm not.
Wow.
It's a clean sweep. I love that character. Both films. I love the arc that she gets. Show yourself. Like you talked about, do the next right thing. Show yourself is a masterpiece.
It's the best song from that movie, except for Into the Woods.
This is a work of art. Show Yourself is amazing. I mean, she has 3 numbers. You have Show Yourself, you have Into the Unknown, you have Let It Go. Just amazing. And Idina Menzel, Broadway legend, and soon to be Disney legend, is like none other in that role. So clean sweep. Gentlemen, we have Ariel going against Mulan. Greg, you're up.
I was going to let Brian go on this one, but I will take this. When I saw the first time that Little Mermaid on VHS tape at my house, my life changed. I grew up with having Disney on VHS, and I grew up with Betamax tapes of old school Disney movies and the cartoons. But when those bubbles come across the screen on Little Mermaid, it changed the projection of my life. All of a sudden, I loved what animation could be. I loved what it stood for. I loved what the artistic rendering, everything about that spoke to me. Ariel sings one song in that movie. She sings one song, but it's the most perfect song of it. She is the voice of my generation. She is the reason. If that movie tanked, if that song didn't work, we would not have the renaissance that we have. And for that one reason, I have to go with Ariel.
And to that point, so to piggyback off that, Greg and I just had a chance to read Part of My World, which was Jodie Benson's book. And so much of that book is dedicated to her time in the studio with Howard Ashman and talking about him directing her to make sure that that song, you know, that every pass of that song was done, and it was done so meticulously to make sure that it wasn't just the vocals of the song. There was a theatrical nature to it. And there's just something so perfect about that song that when you listen to it, you know, Howard told her, like, it's, you know, like, hey, it's not going to be the best thing that, you know, you're not going to love it because she's a Broadway wonk and she's classically trained and she's theatrical. But he says, the way that I made you sing this and the way that we sang this, like, this is going to be something. And Greg, you just said it, man. She has a song, and yet that song has stood for over 30 years and has inspired an entire generation. Bryan, I'm really sorry. I'm taking it out of your hands. I'm curious. I just want to get right to it, man. Like, there's no point in having you break me break a tie and do that. How would you have voted? I'm just curious because we're in the final. Elsa just got in on a clean sweep. We're going to have Elsa against Ariel, but I just want to know, how would you have voted here?
I was going to vote Mulan.
Okay.
I do want to say, though, I think Bryan said it perfectly. That's just a little bit of a generation gap, and it's only a few years. By the time you probably were 7, 8 and really started knowing what cartoons were, by that point, Little Mermaid had been out for a while. And by that point, I think probably Lion King was out.
Mulan came out in my life when Little Mermaid came out in Mark's life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah. So
that's
there's the generation difference. So of course, that's why we can fawn and go crazy over what that is. We were missing and lacking. So it's like the dry times in Star Wars.
You just spoke to the woman, like, that stands for something.
Yeah, but even before, and Greg will tell you this, even before we had her on air.
No, I'm not accusing you.
No,
of
and
such.
I'm saying, like, I was saying to Greg, and you can go back to the old legendary content of Dislife Podcast or the legacy content. I had Piano Rob on this show. And when we were talking about, like, what was that song? Where was that moment? Like, what was it for you? I said, you know, the craziest thing, Rob, for me, it wasn't like a family trip. For me, it was sitting on my grandmother's couch in Rutherford, hearing Part of Your World for the first time. That was my it moment. Like, that was the click. Yeah, I watched Disney movies, but I wasn't like a Disney guy. And then I don't know what it was about that song and that moment. And when that song came off, like, the popcorn stopped being eaten. It was like Sebastian's mouth in the grotto hit the ground. I was like, what is this right now? That this is lyrically, musically something that it opened up my eyes to something that I had never connected with in that way. And, like, I said that to Greg, like, pre-Jody interview. So there's, like, this is all true. I'm not just saying it for the sake of, like, oh, well, I just interviewed her on Friday. Like, these are all truisms, and probably, like, my core memory moment was that. So it really is that important. Gentlemen, we're at the finals. We have Elsa against Ariel. Who will be the Dislife Podcast princess who is going to be crowned queen of the princess bracket?
I'm going to jump right in.
Go ahead. I was just going to give it to you, Greg. The floor is yours. Debate. Now it's debate. Go ahead.
For as much as we just spoke about Ariel, I want to add one more thing to that. That movie got us through a whole nother cycle of movies. We didn't care about the Rescuers Down Under because The Little Mermaid was still so hot and so big. It got us. People don't remember that it went Little Mermaid, and I believe it went Rescuers Down Under, and then it went Beauty and the Beast. So it got us through a whole cycle of a whole nother movie that we didn't care about Disney. That's
you
how
didn't
important.
care about it. I love Rescuers Down Under so much.
And Greg is just silent. He's sitting silent right now.
You sure you want that on the podcast? We can edit it out. It's up to you.
Man, I was a kid.
You stand behind that, Bryan. You can stand behind that. It's
Crikey.
absolutely okay.
Joanna the Lizard was terrifying.
Ariel is the Disney princess that everything for many, many years was built on. But if you're talking about music, if you're talking about it's one song versus at least 3 great songs. And then even add in the one song in the last Christmas special or holiday special that came out. Elsa's voice is beautiful. Idina Menzel just does such a great job.
So here's what's so fascinating. And you know, they're both of these princesses, but both of these films have worked their way to the top because they're respectively, they're both phenomenon. The Little Mermaid started what many lovingly call the Disney Renaissance. This is factual. This isn't me just waxing poetic. And then you have Frozen and Frozen 2, which were a true phenomenon. I mean, Encanto is experiencing that right now. But those 2 animated films, like Frozen was not supposed to be Frozen. And because it was that, it garnered a sequel. Now, you know, like arguably The Little Mermaid and the future installments that were straight to VHS, as beloved as that original film was, that franchise never got that same love that Frozen is getting in the second and now potential third installment. Frozen is something that I think that we still cannot understand. And a lot of that is that music and it's these characters. Like, but Elsa is not just, I have to say this. You know how much I love my girl. Elsa's like a superhero, dude. She is a princess and she has ice powers.
She's an X-Men.
She is an X-Man. She is like genre bending, that she is not just a princess. She's a princess. She's a pop star. She's a Broadway idol. She is.
For all that, I'm going to interrupt you and I'm going to debate you a little bit on this. She was also a princess for 9 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
So
well, that's why she's not technically, and she's not technically counted in the pantheon of Disney princesses.
Right, and we're going by Disney princess.
Bryan, go ahead, man. Like, jump on in if you want.
I'm not going to let you guys talk anymore and change my vote. I'm voting for Elsa.
All right, there it is. Bryan is on the board with Elsa. Greg, you are up, my friend.
I've said this, and Mark, I think you put it so eloquently. And look, yes, I did just speak to this beautiful woman yesterday, but it does not sway my vote. Ariel is the epitome. She changed Disney. She changed the course of Disney animation. She changed the course of what it meant to be a Disney princess. Flaws and all, I am going with Ariel.
Can we talk about the merits of what Frozen was, though? Like,
you're absolutely right, and
everything that The Little Mermaid did in 1989, it brought Frozen brought Disney animation back. Like, everything was Pixar. Everything was Pixar. And then Frozen came back, which then gave us Raya and Wreck-It Ralph and everything else that came after that too. So I think Frozen, and now I may have my sequence off a little bit, but Wreck-It Ralph I think probably was before Frozen now that I think about it. But Frozen brought Disney animation back after it had dropped off and Pixar had kind of taken over. Still Pixar is kind of taken over, but Walt Disney Animation Studios is back because of Frozen. Everything you said about The Little Mermaid does hold up for Frozen as well. I just wanted to say that. But Mark, you have the tiebreaker vote, my friend. Thanks for inviting me.
But don't forget that Tangled did precede Frozen.
Was 2010.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Tangled was 2010. Now Tangled was beloved, but it was not the phenomenon that Frozen was. You're right. Like Tangled did put Disney animation back on the map, but not in the way that Frozen did.
Yeah.
Like this is really hard.
Wait, before you finish voting, I do want to add in this one thing, though.
Go ahead.
I really hate Ariel. Like, as a character, I hate Ariel. But that one song,
but she learns.
Movie,
yeah.
So good.
Oh, man. This is really, I was just going to say, this is really hard for me because that song it's my everything and it's my definitive moment in life. But Elsa is not a Disney princess. She is not Disney canon. But I'm going to tell you what, guys, I'm going to make her canon today because I'm going to vote for Elsa.
And you have to vote for her because if you go down by our list itself, musical prowess, inspiration, girl power, best threads, and the it factor, breaking the mold, you guys are 100% right.
Elsa, congratulations.
But wait a second. Ariel does go to the parks all the time. She's always around people. She's so nice. I mean, listen, Idina Menzel can't even get...
It's over, Greg. It's over. Welcome to the Pantheon of Disney Princesses. Amazing stuff. We loved it. But ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for the show. Don't forget... check out Bryan Lee and his amazing crew over at the Nerd Life Network on YouTube. Smash that subscribe here for us, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google. Don't forget, check out all our amazing podcast programs here at the Chip and Company Podcast Network. Bryan, thank you so much for joining the show. We love the YouTube, man. We love you. You are the best. Thank you so much for joining us again, man.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Thank you one more time, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here for the Royal Princess Tournament. So for me and my co-host, Greg Gately, we wish you an incredible week and hope, as always, that it's filled with faith, trust, and pixie dust. We'll see you real soon. Dislife Podcast is brought to you by the Happiness is Addictive collection. Happiness is Addictive is passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. They love bringing their global community together through optimism, cheer, hopefulness, merriment, and celebrating life's magical moments. They know how important it is to celebrate life's adventures, and their apparel will give you everlasting, one-of-a-kind memories through pixie-dusted family photos, compliments from park guests, and magical moments with cast members. They pride themselves on high-quality, custom-made apparel at competitive prices with world-class service. Let them help you create a lifetime of memories, whether you're Disney bounding, kicking it poolside, participating in Run Disney marathons, having costumed adventures, or just living your best Disney life. You can find their Happiness is Addictive shop on Etsy. You can also find them on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Pinterest. They are proud to be featured in Indy Central Florida, the Thoughtful Gift Club, and now here on Dislife Podcast. Their collection was founded by a 15-year former cast member who knows how to enhance your magical moments for a lifetime of memories with your family. Don't forget to use promo code DISLIFE15 to take an extra 15% off. What are you waiting for? Head over to Etsy and start getting happy today. Follow the link in our show notes and you'll find out for yourself that happiness is addictive.